And so, you know what? We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But what I brought you on to talk about is our role as men, our role as husbands when we take on that title. And so today's episode is going to be affectionately titled "Define Husband."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm scared.
I know it. I know we may step on some toes now because when we start talking about these roles, you know, it may be some trigger points to a lot of men.
Yes, sir.
Are you okay with that?
I'm scared.
Okay, you scared.
But I'm excited.
But we will, you know, on the podcast, we keep it lit. We live intentionally and transparently.
I love it.
All right, so we're gonna deal with some stuff.
Love it.
So when you hear the word husband, no, first of all, let me ask you, how long have you been married?
I've been married 19 years.
19 years. So you have a lot to say about.
I do.
You have a lot to say about what a wife is, or more so what a husband is?
Both. More so what a husband is. What I'm finding is that when I find out what a husband is, who she is will appear.
Hold on.
All right, listen, guys, listen. I listened to probably about 20 minutes of this video, and I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, I need to review this. Now, you guys know I have a great relationship with Lataris as well. He's been on the show a few times. Shout out to him and his great work that he does. I wanted to touch on this because it was a big one for me. I was like, I like the topic, and it talks about the role of a man, talks about the role of leadership, talks about the role of a husband. And so I wanted to jump into this. I wanted to break some things down because when I was listening to it, I was having thoughts about it. So I wanted to add some commentary, add some flavor to what I was hearing, and hopefully that'll help you guys as well along the way. Let's dive into this particular video. If you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right, listen. Let's jump into this video. Let's jump in a bit here.
Hold on. You said that when you find out what a husband is, then who she is will appear.
It'll appear. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, I'm Adam, right? So I'm here first, and so I've got to find out who I am, because whoever I am is going to come out of me, not to me.
All right, so he's going to start like that. Okay, listen, I looked up the etymology of the word husband, and as I looked up the word husband, and we talked about this before on the podcast.
I need to deep it, but I don't get it. I would be honest with you. I don't get it. Okay, maybe when he explains it further on, I just don't get it. I get the whole principle of Adam in the Bible in the beginning, Eve coming out of Adam. Totally get that, but we're not in that same place right now. So I'm trying to figure out what he really means by that. He means when he becomes what he becomes, then the woman becomes what she becomes out of him. I don't know. Is that what I think I'm hearing? And hey, listen, I'm hearing it. I'm deciphering it, and I'm not sure about it. It sounded deep, but maybe I wasn't deep enough to deep it, or maybe it was not really that deep. You know what I mean? I don't know. But all right, cool. Let's start with there. Let's listen. I want to hear it. I want to understand what he's saying. He probably will explain it a little bit later on. I'm not gonna jump down his throat.
Podcast. The word husband is defined as it's an old English word, comes from the word husbanda, which means male head of household, the master of a house, the householder. I love that word, householder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop right there. When you hear the word householder referred to as a husband, what comes to mind?
Yeah, even that word husband, another way of looking at it is a husband or house band.
Yes.
Yeah.
The man that holds it all together, right? And so our role as the husband is to hold it together. And I think a house that doesn't have a house band is a house that is really in dismay. And so it's critical for us to be there to hold it down and hold it together.
He's not lying. This is biblical principle. I hear you, Links. It was a little bit confusing. I ain't gonna lie to you. That original piece, the one before this one, didn't make sense. But this part makes sense, right? Because what he's talking about is a house husband, or the house band, okay, that holds the house together. Actually, there's a scripture where Jesus says, "Listen, unless they tie up the strong man, nobody can take over the house." So a house husband is important because his strength means that people can't take over the house, meaning in some sense, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever. That husband is responsible to keep the household safe, and because of his presence, there are less things that are potentially likely to happen. If you have daughters, you have sons, your children are less likely to be overtaken by the wiles of this world because you're in their life. Your presence is a strong man, So that's fine, that part makes total sense. You're absolutely right, we should be, understanding that part. No, it makes sense for me.
But how do we reverse engineer this problem? A lot of men have grown up in fatherless homes. Did you grow up with a father present at home?
I didn't. I grew up no father. However, my mother was intentional about planting me in the presence of great men. So
She was?
Oh yeah, brother. I was around Suspenders and Stacey Adams.
Really?
Oh yeah, brother. Yeah.
So where'd you grow up?
I'm from the Bay Area, a city called Richmond, California.
Richmond.
Yeah.
I did plays in Richmond before.
Did you?
Yeah. A lot of I used to do touring shows as
Right. Until means forever, until we die. But unto means every day there's an aspect of me that has to die to be with you. And so we have done until our entire lives, but we have missed out on the unto. If that
Hold
makes
on,
sense.
hold on. No, that's got to just sit there. We're going to let that just marinate right there. Oh, Jesus.
Hold on.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about marriage, there are two types of marriage. When we stand at the altar, he's going to say, do you take this man, do you take this woman until death do us part?
Right.
The part we miss is what he doesn't say, he should say is unto death, right? Until means forever, until we die. But unto means every day there's an aspect of me that has to die to be with you. And so we have done until our entire lives, but we have missed out on the unto. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. I mean, again, that corresponds also with gospel as well, in the sense of that Galatians, I believe Galatians, is it 5, where it talks about I think it might be Galatians 5:23, where it talks about how we should die daily, basically dying on to nail ourselves to the cross. And basically what it means is to die to the flesh, right? The fleshly things. You crucify yourself daily, to abstain away, or should I say, to kill away some of the selfish modes of aspects of a human being, right? The things that make us selfish rather than selfless, the things that make us godless rather than godly. And some of those things the Bible talks about in Galatians 5, the sins of the flesh, right? And what's important about that also is that relates to marriage, because when we talk about the relationship between Christ, the church, us, that is the first principle of what marriage really is for anybody, whether you're religious or not. To understand marriage in its fullest understanding, if you want a successful marriage, you have to understand what Christ done for the church, which is sacrifice, and the love that he gives is sacrificial love. Therefore we can submit to him because we've seen him literally sacrifice himself and pay the undue price, which none of us could have paid. And so in a marriage, like he's saying, and he's about to go to, I think I remember this part where he talks about going to the altar, and how going to the altar, a man has to sacrifice himself in a sense, right? And a woman also comes to the altar. They die to self at the altar, because that's what an altar is. So we'll get into that, but I'm liking it so far. I'm hearing what he's saying.
Hold on. No, that's got to just sit there. We're going to let that just marinate right there. Oh, Jesus.
If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Oh, it makes sense. We just know, okay. Unto
Death. Yeah.
Man, I had my buddy Pastor Tim Ross on here, and it says
Genius.
at the altar. Yes, he said